I'm just trying to kind of ease it forward a touch, you know, into the 90s. In a way which isn't going to alienate people who feel that Bond is a certain thing.
At the same time as he was finishing the Shake Not Stir project, was working on the score for the new Bond film, for Tomorrow Never Dies, and in fact we were in the room when he got the call, which was very exciting. When the phone went, it was like, oh yeah, great, cool,
so cool,
got the new Bond film. Shortly after we delivered on Her Majesty's Secret Service, he put it up against one of the scenes in the film at the studios, and they said, oh wow, this is great.
I know whenever I've seen a Bond movie, I've always had a huge expectation about what the music should be and what it shouldn't be.
This car, when you see the car for the first time, he opens the door and he gets given...
There's a point when he moves to Hamburg and the action starts happening in Germany, where I've gone for more of the sort of drum loop, breakbeat, wah-wah guitar approach, alongside the orchestra at the same time. Since you've done this, they've actually cut it again, so we're going to have to try and patch it up from somewhere else. But they sent me over a new cut, so I think probably the best thing to do is to see how this is going to work with the new picture, right?
It should work again.
No, but I don't know what sort of sound effects they're going to put on that, because you've got like a Mercedes with all its tyres blowing out. So I would imagine, like underneath your scratching part, you're going to have like acres and acres of squealing tyres, and
forming rubber.
Yeah, I mean it's really only when you get to a theatre and you see it that you're either elated or disgusted, because you only need to look at it. I mean, like all of these explosions are going to be so enormous. Probably half the time. I should think you probably hear a lot of the drums, but I mean the orchestra part of it, usually it's the brass which kind of sticks out. So.
Austin, coming up to you.
It's a daunting proposition, this film, because it has a lot of music, it has vast amounts of sound effects. And it's very easy for it to become monotonous, it's very easy for it just to become a wall of sound.
He's a master at exactly finding the right level. Not too much and not too little.
He's created a score that is really clever, I think, and smart about keeping old and bringing in new and giving it an energy and vitality.
How long have you waited in your life to play that in a Bond film?
33 months, 4 days.
You know what's really annoying, like, is because I don't know how many times I do that in this film, but I still haven't played it yet.
You're joking,
No.
played it. Did you not play it on Monday?
No, because it's like the problem is I can't be in with the orchestra while we're playing it, because I've got to be like with the directors and the producers and actually kind of managing the whole thing. So I have to have another guitar player in there playing with the orchestra. Oh. And I thought about replacing it, with my own one, but then I thought it's not fair on him.
I thought, no, it's in the album,
listen,
isn't it?
If we do another one.
I think the Bond theme is one that the audience is something they want to hear and they like to hear in the film, and it sort of works within the action sequences. Eric Serra, who did our last film, did not use it as liberally as some others. I think there was a feeling that we should go back to more of the Bond theme.
With GoldenEye, it was the first Bond film for a long time. It was a new Bond, so they wanted to create something new for him. I know they were trying to go a more sort of electronic route, you know, and a more experimental route with Eric. My take on it at the time, as it still is now, is that if you get a new Bond, all you do is surround him with old Bond paraphernalia, and people kind of buy that into that a lot more than they would, you know, if he'd have turned up with a, you know, with a moustache perhaps, or smoking a pipe. All the time I was thinking, God, if I was doing it, I would marry that new feel with you know, one foot in the 60s and one in the 90s. I really did sit and watch this film reel by reel, and whenever there was like a Bond moment, I'd want to hear Bond music, you know, and not kind of run away from the obvious. Whenever he was in a fix or something, he'd press a button and something would happen, and you know, it's that kind of convenient drama that I wanted to get back into the music, because otherwise you've just got another action film. Part of scoring a film is finishing. It takes a lot out of you because I put a lot into it. So emotionally it's very draining, physically it's very draining. You know, you can feel the stress levels actually doing something to you physically. You know, you can actually feel it kind of crumpling things up inside of you, and it's like, it's really uncomfortable. So it's nice to be able to see it kind of filtering out a little bit, and then actually getting the stuff out in the world, you know, so everything that you've done for the last year starts getting a bit of an airing, and you begin to realise, you know, whether or not you've done the right thing. But I think regardless of that, you know, I mean, I really like the album, and I really like the way that's happened. So, you know, regardless if it does well or if it doesn't do well, I still think it's a good record. And I think with the film score as well, you know, I mean, I think I've sort of found a way forward with Bond music, and I know that, you know, they asked me to do the next one, so, you know, I think I found a sort of way to do it now.
You've got to keep him ballsy and muscular and out there.
He's just a wild maverick, isn't he? He's got a license to kill. There aren't that many people with a license to kill, is there? And he's got it. He's the man.
But I think my favourite would probably be You Only Live Twice, just because it was the first one that I saw.
Bond will go on for as long as there's stories to tell. I just hope they don't try to get them too high tech, and let's stay with the men.
I think if you believe in what you write, it's going to shine through someday, you know.